guys, Chris here with the Dargon Gaming Squad, and I am back with our wrap-up of RPG A Day 2017. So we weren't able to participate every single day. Sadly, we just didn't feel experienced enough to answer some of the questions, and there weren't really enough alternates for us to fill in all the blanks. So I have just a few that I wanted to wrap up with today. And today is the last day, so one of them will be the final question. So I'm going to start with question number 20 for day 27, and that was, what are your essential tools for gaming? So I have a few. Obviously, if you're playing online, essential tool for anybody is going to be how you access the internet. For me, that's my trusty computer, which you can see here in the back, my blue Snowball microphone, which I love. Of course, I have speakers and a webcam. I just have a simple, inexpensive Logitech webcam, and that works really well for me. In addition to that, I have, when I'm all set up, I'm just gonna scooch myself out of the picture a little bit so you can see. I have, on my left, I always have my player's handbook, which is right here. I have my character sheet, which in this case I keep in this report folder. This is for the online game that Nate runs for us. My character is Shay, and she's a druid. And of course I have my character sheet. I'll have my sheets sitting there all set to go. And in this folder I have everything else pertaining to my character. I am a druid and I am a shapeshifter, so I have my stats for when I shift shape. I have a couple other things. So, character sheets. Then I have my spell deck. So I always have my player's handbook handy in case we need to get into details, but I do like to use these spell deck cards as far as quick reference, and most spells are pretty complete. So one thing that I do is I wrap a post-it note around my cards for the spells that I've selected for that character, and I have a couple others like this for different characters. So post-it notes and the spell deck card are both essential tools for me. So I pop out the cards that I'm using that night. I take the post-it note off of it and I set them out. So I guess I'm sharing my setup as well as my essential tools, but anyway. So then, last but not least, I have my dice, which I keep in this box. And this is just a wooden box that used to have ginseng tea in it. And it's just kind of the perfect size. We've had a couple of these come and go. It doesn't have magnets or anything to hold the lid on, which is one thing, if I could modify this, that I would. And I suppose I could, but this one's actually starting to wear out. The little guides on the edges that hold the lid on are starting to break off. They're just thin little pieces of balsa wood. But anyway, as you can see, I have a lot of dice in there. I also always keep a pencil in here. I like these mechanical ones with the soft grips, and this one, the eraser's shot, but I also keep an eraser in there. I think I actually have a couple erasers. And then this isn't all my dice, but these are my favorite dice, the ones I use all the time. So when I'm playing, I also, oh, and I should show you, inside the lid of the box, I have a piece of felt that I've put in there. I just cut it to fit. I haven't bothered gluing it down or anything. I don't like the way the felt feels once you glue it, but it stays in place pretty well. I mean, I have to even, look at that. It holds pretty well, so you don't really need to glue these things down. But that way I can move it if I need to. I can put it in something else when this box fails. And I was able to reuse and recycle some things, so that's cool. But then I roll in the lid and it muffles the sound a little bit and gives me a nice surface. And sometimes I do still roll out of my surface, but for the most part it keeps it in there. So for me, having a handy container that I can use with my dice, have my dice in and with the lid is really great. Now where this really comes in handy is when I play with my home group, because I think I've shared before that when my home group gets together, they come up here to my house and we play right in my family room. So that brings me to another essential tool, and that's comfort. So I have a pretty good chair here that I use in my office. It's the same chair that I have at work. But I really, really like it. It's very comfortable. It adjusts well. Still only good for 3 or 4 hours. 3 is kind of my, well, 4 is definitely my max, but a 3-hour session's much better. So even with a good chair. But for our marathon game days with my home group, it's awesome to be able to sit in comfort on the sofas. So being comfortable, very, very important. Definitely an essential tool for me. So when I'm playing with my second edition group, this box again comes in really handy because it gives me a flat surface to roll on. Where in my family room, we don't have a lot of tables. We don't have like a big central coffee table. We don't use like TV trays or anything like that to play on. We just mostly, I just put this right in my lap, or I set it on the end table next to me. But you know, everybody kind of does their own thing. The folks I play with have those lockable containers. They're plastic, and they've put felt in theirs as well. The only thing I don't like about those is sometimes the lids warp, so you don't always have a really flat surface. Anyway, the other couple essential tools for me when I'm playing that game, that's the second edition game, is of course my second edition player's handbook. Must have my handbook, especially because I don't have spell deck cards for that, so I really do have to look up my spells in here. And it's very helpful to be able to read through the spells, so I spend a lot of time doing that. And then I have a clipboard. I really like this. It gives me a good surface to write on. Again, we're in the family room, we're sitting on the sofas, there's not a table there, which is far more comfortable than sitting at a table for 8 hours or 10 hours or even 12 hours. We've had some pretty long sessions. Anyway, but the clipboard's super helpful. So those are my essential tools for gaming online and at home in person. So let's see. The next question that I was going to answer is day 29, and that's, what is the best Kickstarter you have backed? So I have backed quite a few Kickstarters actually for somebody who hasn't been gaming all that long. And I've had pretty good luck. I've only had one that went really south. I'm still waiting on the product. And the people who ran it are not updating the backers and letting us know what's going on at all. So sadly, I understand that that's something that sometimes happens with Kickstarters. However, on the flip side of that, all the rest of them have gone really quite well. And they've all been really well run. So it doesn't really seem fair to me to pick out one as a single best, but I have 3 that I am going to talk about. So the first one is Easy Roller Dice. I participated in their gunmetal dice. I actually have those dice right here. These are them, and they are the gunmetal with the purple text on the dice. They're really heavy dice. They roll really beautifully. You do have to be, they roll really beautifully. Anyway, you do have to be careful with these because they are metal and they are heavy and they will damage soft woods. So I do make sure if I use them to either roll them in my tray, or they come with this great box that has a lid that's lined and you can roll right into the lid. It's just such a small, you know, even the box that I use most of the time is fairly small, but you can see the difference in size, you know. So I do prefer to use my box, my little makeshift box. But anyway, so this was the first Kickstarter that I backed, and I got these so quickly. Easy Roller has done a few of these Kickstarters. They've done a couple different versions of their dice, and they clearly know what they're doing, and so it went really smooth. They kept us updated, and boy, I got my dice so quickly. In fact, I got them way sooner than, I don't know if I'd even really paid that much attention to when they were due, but they came really fast, and I was super excited that they showed up when they did. So the Second Kickstarter that I want to mention is, of course, the Deadlands anniversary Kickstarter that I backed. I know I've talked about this before when I did the review, and I've got to say, like, it was just super well run. These guys, again, I think Pinnacle has been around the block a few times. They knew what they were doing. They definitely, you know, they've published enough books that they knew how that portion was going to go and how all that was happening. So it came together really fast. Along the way, there were a lot of PDFs that they released to us. I got things like a character folio. There was a converter so that you can convert your anniversary, which is Deadlands Classic, to Deadlands Reloaded, or vice versa. There was a single sheet. They called it a one-sheet adventure. There were, you know, dime novel PDFs, all kinds of stuff. There was also even a soundtrack. But I've heard a lot of stories about brand new books coming and people having trouble with the spines not holding together. And I don't know if that's across the board, regardless of who's putting them out, or if that's only certain companies. But I've been really lucky so far, knock on wood. We'll see how that lasts. I haven't heavily used all that many of my books, although my player handbook for D&D, my 5th edition, I have used quite a bit. Anyway, the Deadlands book came, it was appropriately packaged, so it arrived in really good condition. There were bookmarks and a little like cardstock poster. And there was also, oh, I do have this. I can't remember if this was something that was unlocked or something I ordered extra. I think it was something that was unlocked. But this, I mean, this is easy to damage in shipment if you don't package it right. So everything arrived in good condition. It was safe. The book has been beautiful. It was well run. They kept us, like I said, kept us up to date. They did a really good job. And I believe there was a slight delay in getting the books out, but boy, they said, here's what we're doing, how this is going to work instead, and they followed through, and I got it right after that. So that was really, really great. The last Kickstarter that I want to share, I believe I've also shared before, and that is the Oath of the Frozen King Adventure Kit from our own Absolute Tabletop. These guys, you know, again, if you haven't checked them out, they're an indie publisher. They're doing a great job. They have a lot of collective experience and a lot of varied talents across the board with the 4 of them. So check out their website. It's absolutetabletop.com. I'll have the link below for you. And keep an eye out for an Oath of the Frozen King Adventure Kit to come out because it's really, really cool. Gosh, I wish I had the description in front of me. I just would read it to you. But trust me, it's cool. It's going to be great. And those guys, I mean, they set their backer goal, like they set their Kickstarter goal super low. We blew through it so fast. I think I was like the 9th person to back. But I mean, they had it fully funded in hours and then blew through all of their stretch goals and ended up just doing great. And they are, you know, they kept us updated every step of the way, even during of course, I'm connected to them on Facebook too. They have a Facebook group. It's at the Absolute Tabletop Facebook group. So of course I got additional updates and things through that, but ever since it closed, we've been getting updates every other week. They've really been following through. Everything they do really well. I know that this kit is going to be amazing, and I can't wait for it to come. That brings me to today's question, day 31, and that is, what do you anticipate the most for gaming in 2018? I think I've shared a lot of things over the past several weeks as part of this RPG a Day that give hints to this. I know a lot of the other things I've talked about, probably these aren't going to be big surprises for you. I look forward to finally playing Deadlands. I look forward to playing more Fiasco, and I hope to play a little bit of Microscope. In fact, I'm hoping to use Microscope to work on the timeline for a campaign that Nate has asked me to create and run. I really am looking forward to playing a lot more Edge of the Empire as well. In other areas, I'm really looking forward to, actually it's not even going to be 2018, but I'm looking at this like a school year would. So coming up in November, I am highly anticipating Brigade Con, and for the first time we are going to be hosting something. I really thought about trying to run a game. I really hoped that Nate would run a game. Maybe he still will decide to. But we did decide to host a panel, and we are all set up to do that. We have some great panelists, and what we're going to talk about is how to teach people to play RPGs, how to introduce new RPGs to your existing group. So, you know, if you have an existing group of players and you've been playing, you know, D&D 5th edition all along, and now you want to introduce Edge of the Empire, how do you approach that? And hopefully, if there's time permitting, I'm hoping that we can also talk about how, as people running the game, how GMs can approach learning that system and digesting that information so that we can turn around and teach it to our players. So I'm really looking forward to that. That's going to be really fun, and it'll be neat to be on that side. So far, I watched the first year. The last couple years, I played in one-shots and had a great time. It's a fabulous way to spend 24 hours, and it's also, you know, the proceeds go to an amazing cause, Child's Play, and I'll talk about that more on another day. But yeah, so all those things are things I'm really excited about. I'm also really looking forward to the next AtCon. So going back to the guys at Absolute Tabletop, they've put on their first gaming convention this year. They did it right in Tacoma, which is just right in my backyard. It's like a 45-minute drive for me. So I was really excited. I didn't have to, you know, go on an expensive trip leaving my husband, who does not game at home, because there's no way he would have gone with me. I was able to go and do that, and it was relatively inexpensive, and it was a really great, intimate day. There was only about 40 people there, and we just gamed all day. We were at a little gaming shop in Tacoma, and I played 2 sessions back to back. I actually did manage to pick up a board game there too. I got the game Lanterns. So, I mean, it was just a really awesome day. We got to meet the guys. I hadn't met any of these people in person yet, and so it was really great to not just meet the Absolute Tabletop guys, but to meet all the people that came too, and I made some friends, and I feel like there's a few people that will always have room at their table for me, and who I know I will always have room in my game for them. And so that was really great. I can't wait to repeat that experience, and I really hope, I know that they're going to need to accommodate a lot more than 40 people next year, but I really hope it'll be able to stay kind of a small, intimate event, because I think that was really neat after seeing all the pictures from Gen Con. Anyway, those are all the things that I am really looking forward to, anticipating. Oh, and there's one more, and that is getting to know all of you even better and hearing more and more of your comments and sharing hopefully some games with you. I am really looking forward to that. I hope that we will be in a game together in the near future. And so that's it for today. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it the thumbs up and let us know in the comments below so that we can make more videos of these kinds. And we do appreciate it when you subscribe and share with your friends. And until next time, get out and get gaming. Hopefully with me. Bye, guys.